Hello everyone, some of you may know me from Sent My Way Karen's videos. I've made a few guest appearances over the past year or so. I don't know that I'll be having my own channel with videos regularly, but I wanted to jump in here because I think I've got some interesting things with this gold lid aromatherapy slash Good Life collection, the two collections from the fall and the spring that were in Bath & Body Works, White Barn, Slatkin & Co. test stores. Just to give you a little background, I've been buying Slatkin & Co. candles for about 3 years, since fall of '09. I had always had candles here and there, but never a ton of them. And then I actually smelled Slatkin & Co.'s Winter at Karen's place, and I loved it. And then we went to the store, and they were 2 for $20, and we had the coupon, so it was 3 for $20. And suffice to say, I got kind of obsessed from that point on because I couldn't resist a good deal and a really great smelling candle. And then I found out that I'm not too far from a test store, so I've been able to get some really cool things over the past year or so. So I don't have a whole lot of time because we've got a 15-minute limit here on the new channel, so I need to dive right into this. But we're going to go through, there were 8 candles in the fall and then 8 candles in the spring from the gold lid aromatherapy lines. There were some differences between them. They had some candles that they reformulated, some that they dropped, some that they added, but we're going to go through all of them. I've got 6 of the first line and then 5 of the second line. It was 8 and 8. So we've got the fall, and then we've got the spring, and then at the end of the video I have one other quick thing to talk about. But in the fall, the candles were the Comfort, Passion, Happiness, Flirt, Joy, Peace, and then the 2 I didn't buy were Calm, might have been called Quiet, and Relax. They were just straight up repackages of the current aromatherapy line, which would be Lavender Vanilla and Eucalyptus Spearmint. They were nice, but I just didn't need them because I already had them in their original packaging. So if we get into these, so it's a gold lid line. This was called Aromatherapy Home Scented Candle. The lids are gold, and in the fall they said Bath & Body Works on them, as opposed to the Slatkin & Co. that we are used to. But like always, like the aromatherapy scents and other scents, it does say Slatkin & Co. on the bottom, so it's sort of like Slatkin & Co. for Bath & Body Works. So getting right into it, it was a line that was meant to evoke a mood or an emotion along with a scent. So you've got the labels that have the joy, flirt, comfort, whatever they want you to feel, and then the notes listed on the label there, and then a tagline with each of those. So let's just go right into them. We've got Comfort, which says here, patchouli soothes the senses, and that was patchouli, cedarwood, and white musk. And I really loved this scent. It's very reminiscent of the vanilla sandalwood from a few years back that's been discontinued. It's a little heavy, but not overbearing. The cedarwood is not too woodsy or heavy. It's just really nice, comforting, like it says in the fall and winter months. Then we've got Passion, which is black pepper heightens desire, and that's black pepper, bergamot, and rose. And to me, this is very, very similar, almost a duplicate of the black pepper and bergamot from the Passport line that came out in the fall, along with Indian mahogany teakwood or mahogany leather, depending on the market. It's that, but it's a little bit lighter maybe, with a little bit of the rose floral. Truthfully, it could be my nose tricking me and my mind seeing a lighter scent or a lighter wax and a different name, and I could be thinking it's different, and it could be the same scent. I haven't really compared the two, but they're both nice. Then we've got here Joy, which is cinnamon uplifts the spirit, and that is cinnamon, orange, and berry. Let's try to get some focus going there. Come on, there we go. Okay, and then yeah, so uplifting cinnamon. This is nice. It's kind of light. It's not bad. It's not like a vanilla, or it's not like spice. It's not vanilla spice. It's not berry and bark. It's not a woodland berry, not frosted cranberry. It's really its own scent, which is nice. And there really is no vanilla in there. It's kind of a light, cool, cinnamony. There's no red hot or big red scent to it. It's nice, nothing crazy, kind of holiday. It's fine. Then we've got Peace, which I really, really loved. And this one is different from the Peace from the spring collection, if you're familiar with that one. And this is balsam, amber, and cedar. Cedar leaf restores balance is the tag on that one. And it's green balsam, if that makes a difference. And it's very similar to the fresh balsam that everyone knows and loves, but it's not quite as strong and astringent with that bright, heavy, winter mountain air that you get from the fresh balsam. It's a little calmer, and it really is soothing. I really love that one. I think I've gone through a couple of those actually. And then the last 2 we've got here are by far my favorites. we've got Flirt and Happiness. And Flirt, the crazy thing is, this is the one that they reformulated and released with the same name and the same packaging label in the spring line over here, but it's a completely different candle, which, I'm really fascinated by the whole, marketing and user testing and small changes that they make with the test candles and how they really get things out there quickly in their test markets, check them out, and iteratively make changes along the way, whether it's just change the color of the wax or changing the label or reformulating it or repackaging it and getting it out there to see what scent sticks and what sells. And I think it's really fascinating. It's pretty interesting how they do it. And I tend to go for some of those test scents that don't go wide because they'll take chances there and they'll see interesting combinations that maybe are unique or weird and aren't your typical foodie, bakery, fresh, juicy, whatever kind of thing. So I love getting to try the test scents because they oftentimes are my favorites, even when they don't unfortunately make it wide. But with Flirt here, back on track, we've got Mandarin Inspires Playfulness, and it is Sage, Emerald Waters, and Mandarin. And it's just really, it's light. It almost reminds me of like a teen or 20s unisex cologne or like a body spray or something that would have smelled in high school, like American Eagle, like one of their lower end body sprays. And I usually don't like the cheaper things like that, not to sound like a snob, but just I usually prefer something to be a little bit more intricate and complex when it comes to things like that. But it's really, really nice. It's not really masculine or feminine, flirty, I don't know, but it's just really sort of a good, nice, fresh scent without being overpowering. And then along the same lines as that one, we've got Happiness, which to me evokes the same kind of mood or feeling, but it's completely different from Flirt. And this is a mix of wild mint, sparkling citrus, and vanilla. And it's just, I love this one. Karen, I think, said that it reminded her of toothpaste, which I could see from, citrus or mint or vanilla. Could be, any of those could be a toothpaste. But it just really was like a bright, kind of airy, minty, like very interesting, the mix of vanilla and mint. It's really not like any of the mints they have because there's a lot of mint thrown into their candles, it seems like these days, between, lots of the test scents had, a random note of mint in them lately. But it's I can see, it says brightens the moment. It's not anything like, really like anything they've had before. So it was really interesting to me. I liked it a lot. And I was upset, or not upset, let's keep it real here. I was disappointed that the relaunch, when that came out, didn't have Happiness or Flirt in this form. There was Flirt and Happy, but two completely different candles from these. So these ones were discontinued, taken out, I think, like December through the SAS. And then in March, a new gold lid line came out to stores, also with 8 scents. Again, some overlap, a lot of new. I've got 5 of them here. The changes with this, again, talking about their small marketing changes, is that this is now called Slatkin & Co. Good Life scented candle. And although they're gold lids, they went back to being the Slatkin & Co. as opposed to Bath & Body Works. Again, I guess they figure these small changes can make a difference, which I'm sure they can. So with this one, I'll run through the list here. We've got, again, we've got 5 of the 8. So in this, we've got Refresh, Smile, Peace, Flirt, Hope, and then the 3 we don't have here are Love, Relief, and Happy. Relief was a straight-up dupe, again, of Eucalyptus Spearmint, so that was similar to, I think, what was Relax in the fall, and I didn't need that one. Happy was called, the tagline on that one was Citrus Brightens the Moment, but literally that was a complete repackage of Caribbean Salsa. If anyone remembers that from a while back, I think it actually is coming back in the stores for the semi-annual sale this time around. But to me, it didn't make a whole lot of sense to have a specifically summer, fruity, juicy, bright scent that really does seem to be a summery scent and just calling it Happy. I feel like they should stick with scents that are specifically supposed to evoke a mood for whatever reason, if it's going to be a Good Life or Aromatherapy collection. I was disappointed in that, which is why I didn't buy it. Love, which was a strawberry scent. It's one thing to put comfort or peace or happiness in a candle, but to put love in a candle, I don't know that, you're not going to smell a candle and feel loved, but, and certainly not just by some random strawberry note. But, so I didn't like that, I didn't buy it. But the other ones were decent. I will say, well, let's just get into it. So first we've got the one that I thought was crazy. Flirt, so it looks like the exact same candle except the notes are different. So the last one was mandarin along with emerald waters and sage. This is mandarin with pomegranate and citrus. And to me, this is almost a duplicate of the pomegranate lemonade that everyone knows. It's a little bit warmer and not as quite intense bright as that, but it's pretty much very, very close to that, and nothing really special or unique that excited me. Then we've got Refresh, which is decent. Refresh, if we can get some focus going, come on here, is crisp ocean air soothes the senses. It's melon, jasmine, and ocean air. It's nice. It's kind of light, a little bit sweet, a little dewy. It's very similar to Seashore from the Boardwalk collection, if you know that one, except that it has sort of a base note that reminds me of something that's in the mahogany teakwood from the fall, which seems weird to have such a heavy note in a Refresh ocean candle, but there's something to it that I can't put my finger on. Then we've got, let's see here, we're running low on time. Then we've got Peace, which is not the piece from the fall that was the cedar. This is Peace, lavender, and spearmint, and I think they say, what did they say, sage as well. And this is actually just a repackage of the Paris, or rather the Paris collection was a repackage of this for the lavender market. So it's nice. It's kind of heavy on the mint for one that's supposed to be lavender, but I do like it a lot. Then you've got Smile, which is a pretty basic lemon or citrus. Lemon brings cheer, which there was no Smile from the fall line. And this is basil blossom, orange blossom, and lemon. And it's interesting, there's no basil listed there, but if you look on the label, it does say basil blossom. I'll burn this when I'm cleaning the kitchen, something like that. It's not your fresh lemon. It's not just a lemon scent. It's not really like a cleaner. There is definitely a little bit of an herbal basil in there, which I think is a nice effort to try something different. And then lastly, we've got Hope, which is jasmine uplifts the spirit, and that is bamboo grass, white peach, and jasmine. It's very similar to a fresh bamboo, but a little bit more floral, a little less crazy intense with that bright, heavy, astringent fresh bamboo that most people know from the past few years. It's not bad. I like it. It's kind of it evokes the first spring day, like a spring day, but with snow on the trees, but it's a spring day coming through. That's what I get from that. It's nice. I don't love it. Could do without it. But so overall, between these two lines, it seems to me that the test scents, they like I said, they sometimes will try crazy things in those, and I think with this they really tried and they worked hard on these different scents. And then with the re-release, it just seems like it's a little more basic, a little more generic. They're just going with Flirt and Happy. They're just either a repackage or the kind of a generic sweet scent. Same thing sort of with Smile and Hope. There's nothing truly special about them, which I guess maybe they were trying to see if that was necessary to be more popular than the first line. Again, I'm just talking here, I really don't know. But hopefully we'll see some form of these in the future. I really like that they're trying to do aromatherapy and specialty scents that aren't just your typical foodie, bakery, sweet kind of thing. They're really going for a little bit more high-end blends that really are done, like Slatkin has said, that are done by perfumers and people who really work on their blends, which I think is what they should strive for. But with that, there is something new in test stores now that I have no idea if it's part of a line or if it's a new thing that's going wide or what it is. But they're very simple. There's only two of them. There's lavender and there's vetiver. Lavender here lists it as fresh picked lavender with sweet jasmine, delicate freesia, and a touch of sandalwood. I'm happy to say this is nothing like any lavender I've smelled from them. It's not lavender market. It's not lavender chamomile, lavender vanilla. Lavender, what am I missing here? The odor eliminating lavender. It's really its own thing. It's really intensely lavender, but not super astringent. It's slightly powdery, just really nice. I'd be happy to see that one go wide. And then vetiver is crazy. It's vetiver with rich neroli, fresh citrus, tobacco, and coriander. And I just love this one. It's hard to say what it's like. There's a little bit of that mountain air. really interesting stuff, but looks like the video is about to run out here, so I can't get too far into that. Maybe I'll do a review of just that later, but take care. Thanks.